offered 100% online. Text CORE to 79645. That's CORE to 79645.
Attention investors. Everyone knows you need to diversify from stocks. National Realty's Class A property fund includes prime income producing property, backed by our proven track record. Your apartment building secured. You're recession proof. You're diversified in 15 locations and have monthly cash flow. This portfolio has $750 million in new construction. Remember, no matter the market, it's always a landlord's market. Call 201-210-2727. That's 201-210-2727. The offer to buy or sell any security is only made by our private placement memorandum. Read first and invest wisely. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. National is a real estate development firm. See us at nria.net.
For all of the audible sighs of release, honestly, I think across much of the political spectrum, frankly, that the acute moment of crisis seems, at least in the very short term, to have passed in U.S.-Iran relations. All of the conditions that brought us here are still present and looming over everyone's heads. Here to talk about what this means for the region, for Iran, Iraq, and the greater Middle East, two people with intimate knowledge of the area, its history. Houman Maj, journalist and author of several books about Iran. He has a piece out in the Washington Post today titled, If Trump Knew Anything About Iran, He Would Never Have Threatened Its Culture, also an NBC News analyst. And Rula Jibril, a journalist, foreign policy analyst who spent decades writing about and reporting on the region. It's great to have you both here. We talked to you after the Soleimani strike.
Right.
There was a moment last night when I think we were covering it live. There's this question. What is this? What are we looking at, right? Are we looking at something that's fairly limited and meant to sort of show retaliation? We're not going to just let you do this. Or are we looking at a massive escalation that's going to plunge us somewhere? It looks to be the former. Is that your interpretation?
Oh, absolutely. But it's kind of both in a way. They had already signaled, the Iranians had signaled that they were going to have a military response. Now, they used ballistic missiles, not Katyusha rockets, which are very accurate, the ballistic missiles. So they obviously hit the bases in a way to not create so much damage or casualties that would then escalate it further. But the signal there is that we can do it.
Right.
We can hit you. We can hit your bases with our missiles. If they fire 20 or 25, whatever the number is, because there's some conflicting reports of the number of missiles from the U.S. Pentagon, if they fire 20, they can fire 100. And so you can imagine what kind of damage they can do. But clearly, this was also a message. So it was a little bit of both. It was an aggressive act. They could say to their people, we did this. But it was also telling President Trump, be careful. Be careful what you do.
The conditions here, I mean, to me, the most dangerous condition in terms of the spiraling is the fact that we still have U.S. troops, thousands of them in Iraq, in close proximity to the Shia militias, some of which are integrated into the Iraqi government, but essentially under the command of the Revolutionary Guard, just right next to each other. That hasn't gone away, Rula.
Absolutely not. And by the way, the Iraqi militia themselves, Sunni or Kurds and others, they've been on standby looking at the escalation and thinking, our loyalty is to Iraq. The Americans one day they will leave, but we will have to deal with the Iranians for decades to go. So there are now, even the people in parliament who voted to reject the Americans and tell the Americans, thank you, goodbye, who've been telling the Americans, don't attack Iran, don't do anything, because the main goal that the Iranians had is basically to eliminate the Americans and to tell the Americans, please leave the Middle East, the entire Middle East. This was their strategy number one. Donald Trump gave them exactly what they wanted by killing Soleimani. And then the other element of it, now all the bets are off on the nuclear capacity and ambition. So now the two goals that Trump basically ran the election saying, I would never go to another war in the Middle East. Now he basically walked back on that promise. And the other promise of, well, I can get another deal from the Iranians. What he's getting, he might be getting the atomic bomb.
Well, that is the question, right? I mean,
if he was a lawyer, he'd be disbarred. I mean, this is malpractice on a level that is just it's unbelievable.
Well, it seems to me, my interpretation of this, because I'm covering him every